Well, okay then. Hello everyone and welcome to the Weekend Preview for Sunday, January 11th, 2015. I'm Darkside Phil, and thanks for being here, whether you're live on stream or you're watching this on YouTube. Some of you might have just been thrown for a loop and said, what the hell was that I just saw? Because that is the very first time that I have premiered that new remixed intro for the Weekend Preview after literally having the same intro for like 4+ years. I want to give special thanks to JagerMonster720, who submitted that pretty damn good intro. He said that he was messing around with a few different, video editing programs and such. I was able to slap something together quickly this week, and I said, that looks some pretty good work. I'm going to go ahead and put that in, and I thought that it was pretty good, pretty nicely done. So thanks again to JagerMonster for that. Hoping that with a lot of my content this year that we're going to be able to refresh it a little bit, right? And we'll be able to integrate different things into different shows and things that I do. So that's just the tip of the iceberg. But anyway, all right, the Weekend Preview, and let's get started. Let's honestly just address the initial thing that we need to address is that, unfortunately, earlier today I was not feeling well. And unlike previous months, past couple months, there have been a few days where maybe I wake up and I don't feel good or whatever. And there seemed to be a running theme that I eat a Hot Pocket the night before because I want a snack, and the next morning I feel like crap. I since then have abolished Hot Pockets. I have not eaten a Hot Pocket literally since those issues began. And now that I'm not doing that anymore, I don't know. I woke up this morning. First of all, here's the truth. I went out last night for dinner, and I stuffed myself when I was at dinner, and I just felt so bloated last night that I basically didn't eat or anything or do anything, and I hadn't had anything to eat or even much to drink since dinner yesterday. And I woke up this morning. Now, today was supposed to be a day when I make a new pot of Italian sauce, which means there's going to be food smells in the house all day long, and it takes about 2 hours of work for me to set up that sauce to get it going and cooking. And I went ahead to do it, and when I woke up in the morning, when I was going to head over and start making the sauce, I was like, oh, I just felt terrible. I felt, number one, I felt like I had no energy in my body. My stomach felt incredibly queasy. Like if I just moved the wrong way, I was probably going to explode. And I went to use the bathroom, and I was lightheaded. I was like, oh, I feel like dizzy. So Leanna woke up. She's like, come on, honey, we got to go make the sauce. I was like, I can't. I don't feel good. And especially today, to have the house smell like that sauce all day would really make me upset. So basically, I decided I was not going to do it today. And unfortunately, I did have to cancel my gameplay stream for today because I was feeling under the weather. The good news is I slept in a few hours. I had some liquids. I went and had some food. And now I'm feeling better. As you can see, I'm feeling better. So hopefully, it was just a kind of an overnight thing. I'm feeling pretty good right now. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk about this week. This week is basically finally going to be the end of kind of, I want to say, the leftovers. Although it's not going to be the end of some of the ongoing playthroughs. It may be in one case, but we're basically getting into the end game of the year-end series and the 2014 content. And what I mean by that is we got 3 ongoing playthroughs that I'm going to be continuing this week and hopefully getting pretty further into. We've got the year-end series that are coming to culmination with the Game of the Year awards this week. And then finally, we're going to really hit the culmination with the funniest moments montage, which I'm going to talk about a little bit in this, I lost my sentence there. I'm going to be talking about a little bit later that I need your help with that funniest moments montage here in the Weekend Preview. Alright, so it's going to be a fun week, a mix of stuff. Now, for those of you who follow me on Twitter, you may be a little confused because last night I tweeted out kind of almost a preemptive schedule for this week to give everyone a rough idea of what to expect, but it was wrong. I screwed up this week and next week. I didn't realize what weeks were which and what days were the right days. And basically what happens is last night I tweeted about, oh, this Thursday I have to take off because I've got a toilet being installed. And that was completely wrong. That was completely misinformation. So let me go through now day by day what you guys can expect this week so that there's no misinformation and you know exactly what's going to be happening. Okay? So tomorrow, Monday, since today we screwed everything up, right? I screwed everything up not feeling well. Tomorrow, Monday, we're going to resume with gameplay. We're going to be doing Dragon Age Inquisition on my gameplay stream. That's going to be, the roughly 3 to 3.5 hours that I do. And then there will be no second stream because tomorrow night will be the premiere of the Game of the Year Awards for 2014. And just to explain to you guys how I'm handling it, I'm going to be doing it how I traditionally do it, where, yes, there will be 10 games that I've decided are the top 10 games of the year for me, personally, but I'm also going to have honorable mentions, games in there that I liked a lot, maybe didn't feel like, okay, massive Game of the Year material, but still need to be mentioned in an awards-like setting, and so I will be doing that. So this is a great opportunity because not only will there be 10 games that I really like, but also other games. So for those of you who maybe, you don't get a chance to play every game, and you're wondering, gee, it's the end of 2014, early 2015. A lot of the games that came out in 2014 may be cheap now. I'm going to be able to tell you what games I feel are worth your time, so maybe you'll go check them out for a discounted price, okay? So, people are saying I look like Thug Mario. They don't they don't like my Thug Mario beanie that I've been wearing for like 3 years. Anyway, so how are we going to do this? Tomorrow, Dragon Age Inquisition, and then the Game of the Year awards begin. Now, I want to preface this by saying tomorrow, primarily what my job is going to be, working on these Game of the Year awards, is going to be doing the voiceovers, okay? Getting all the gameplay footage together, and basically getting all the resources together to work on this series. What this really means is that it's going to be like 2 to 3 hours of busy work, and I may be just getting all the components there. I may not even have time to put the components together to get a video out. It all depends on how long it takes for me to get all the footage and the components that I need together in order to do the Game of the Year awards. So it may be that I have one video out tomorrow. It may be that I have 2 to 3 videos out tomorrow, or maybe that if things don't go as planned, or it's a little bit tougher to get the stuff together that I need, that I have no videos out tomorrow. The good news is this week is focused only on the Game of the Year awards, and it should take 3 to 4 days, if not all week, to do it, and I have that time to do it. It's not like I'm in a big crunch rush where I have to push these out in like 1 to 2 nights. I can definitely space this out over the course of the week, okay? So tomorrow night, the Game of the Year awards begin. For me, the work, I'm going to try as hard as I can, okay, to get the Game of the Year awards out every day this week. However, I'm not going to promise you 100% that every day I'm going to be doing a new Game of the Year awards videos, because it all depends on how things go, okay? So, that's Monday. Tuesday, we're going to flip over back to Grand Theft Auto 5 on my gameplay stream, Game of the Year awards for the second half. Wednesday, we're going to be going back to Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix, which now I'm heading into the second half of the game. In fact, I am into the second half of the game from what I've heard. And, excuse me, people are having a lot of fun watching that playthrough. We had an outstanding attendance on the stream yesterday for Kingdom Hearts 2. I was very pleased. So definitely check that out later in the week. Thursday, so here's where things are different from what I had tweeted last night. No, Thursday, I am not taking the day off. Thursday is a normal day for me, where I am going to be doing gameplay and working on the Game of the Year awards. I screwed that up on Twitter. That's not correct, okay? So Thursday, it looks like I'll be doing Dragon Age Inquisition again, which of course then means Friday I'll be doing Grand Theft Auto, and that means that Saturday, yet again, I will be doing Kingdom Hearts 2. So that's the rough schedule for you to expect this week, alright? So, those playthroughs continuing, balanced off with the Game of the Year awards. Now, you might have just heard that and said, but Phil, you didn't say anything about a podcast this week. Well, last week, on last week's Hate Live, I promised you guys I wasn't going to do one this week because I screwed up. I screwed up the schedule, and I said I'm not doing a Hate Live because I thought that this week was the week that I was getting my toilet installed, and I was wrong. I was off by a week. So because of that, unfortunately, I don't want to kind of mix, I don't want to change that, and the bottom line is I do need to get further in these ongoing playthroughs that I'm doing, because next week, not this week coming up, but the week after, we do have new games coming out. Finally, after over a month of downtime. It was kind of funny because Leanna, actually, yesterday when we were out, she says, geez, when was the last time we went to GameStop to pick up a game? And I was thinking about it, and I was like, November, I think. I don't even think we went to GameStop in December. So it's been, over 2 months since we've been to GameStop to pick up any new games. There's just been nothing coming out. Or there was stuff that came out, for example, The Crew or Captain Toad, but I'm so busy with the games I'm playing that I didn't take the time to go and get those games. So yeah, so that's going to be the rough plan this week. There will be no Hate Lie. I'm going to leave it at that, because it really doesn't make any sense for me to go back on my word and throw in a Hate Live, especially because I'm not exactly sure what to talk about this week. Not every week is there so much going on in gaming that we all need to have a Hate Live episode to discuss stuff, right? So anyway, one thing that I do need your help with, a few things. The first is the year-end series that I'm talking about. The final thing I'm going to do after we finish the Game of the Year awards is that we're actually going to be doing the funniest moments of the year countdown. Now, right now, I've got about 50 posts in a thread on my forums, thekingofhate.com, but people have nominated their funniest moments of the year. I'd like even more than that if possible, okay? If you guys could head over to the forums, what I'll do is I'll put a link in the description of this video that you can click on, go to the forums, and nominate your funniest moments. That way I have a big thing to grasp from when I do this big montage that's going to be coming up the next week and a half or so, all right? Number 2, I would like your suggestions for future installments of Back in the Day, which is a segment that I like to do on my Hate Live podcast. At this point, you know, I've gone through a ton of stuff, and I think I've touched upon different topics such as my history in fighting games, my history as a gamer, my high school days, my grammar school days, and I've really touched upon a wide variety of topics. I know that there's tons more for me to talk about, but it's that, number 1, I don't know what would be interesting, and number 2, I sometimes, without people suggesting stuff, it never comes to mind. In fact, there was a few episodes of Back in the Day that people suggested something. I was like, wow, that's a great one to do this week, and it wouldn't have occurred to me if people hadn't suggested it. So now that we got the forums up and running, if you guys could make you know, your suggestions on the forums over there, there's a suggestion section, or you could even, actually, here's what I'll do. Do it under, there's a section there just for the Hate Live podcast. Do it in that section. Do a thread, you know, suggestions for Back in the Day, and please start posting up there, and hopefully this will give me some great refreshing ideas, so when the podcast does come back in a few weeks, we could do a big segment of Back in the Day, which a lot of people have been waiting for, and I haven't been able to do the past couple podcasts, okay? Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is another thing that I need your help with. Last but not least, I think the one final thing that I do still need a few more suggestions for is the fact that I am going to start, you know, using Patreon, however you pronounce it, I don't know, in the coming weeks. Right now, I'm not really going to be talking about it that much because I'll be honest, I'm doing the year-end stuff. I'm not doing anything different or new. Once I start new projects and I determine what the perks are going to be for people who become part of the Patreon program, then I'm going to be talking about it more. But right now, I just smashed my hand on my table. But right now, I don't know what those perks are going to be, and that's what I want. Your suggestions on what perks I could give Patreons. And there's been a lot of things thrown around, including on Ask the King, have a section where you took questions specifically from that group of people, so their questions have an increased chance of getting answered on Ask the King. We've also got people saying, yeah, can you do maybe time-released content, where, for example, if you're going to start a new series like Project 7, can we see that series 2 days ahead of time or something like that? Or we've got exclusive streams, exclusive Q&A sessions. People have said, why don't you use Google Hangouts instead of Skype if Skype sounds like it's too insecure or whatever. So we'll see. I've got all these ideas floating around in my head based off of your suggestions, and I'd like a few more. So that section is live on the forums if you'd like to contribute there as well. So there's lots of opportunities for you to interact and give your opinions on stuff and see what I mean. And this is cool. I like the two-way. Not that it's just me doing everything and my opinion. I mean, I could easily go through and pick my funniest moments and go ahead and just do what I think is the right thing to do with certain things. But I like to get your feedback, and that's really primarily the purpose of the forums. So please go ahead and check them out when you get a chance, and submit your opinions and stuff, okay? What else? Outside of all that, there's not a heck of a lot going on. There will definitely be a new episode of DSP Tries It this week. It'll probably be later on in the week. A lot of people have been saying, Phil, you haven't reviewed a game in a while. Well, I haven't reviewed a game because I haven't beaten a game in a while. If I actually beat a game, I can actually you know, do a game review, but I haven't gotten around to, you know, first of all, I'm playing two out of the 3 playthroughs I'm doing are older games, and the one game that I'm doing that is a new game, Dragon Age Inquisition, has been going on for 2 months, and I'm still trying to get to the end. People are saying there's 3 major story missions and a little bit of side content left, so it's maybe going to be a few major streams to get through all of that. So there's a lot going on, and I would love to review it, but I'm not going to review it, obviously, until I get to the end of the game, realistically. Now, some people are saying, Phil, now you've been doing this balance of gameplay and working on year-end series for the past several weeks since you came back from Christmas. Is this going to continue? Or is it going to revert back to the old style where you do 2 gameplay streams a day? I've been getting questions like this, so to address that, starting next week, there are 2 new things coming out. There's the Saints Row 4 final episodic DLC or whatever, I guess it's called Gat Out of Hell, and there's also the remake of Resident Evil. What I would like to do is maybe for at least 1 to 2 days that week, I will do 2 streams, but then after that, maybe I'll revert back and I'll start doing 1 gameplay stream and balance that with me working on a series or a new vlog or something. We're going to have to see, you know, based off of first of all, your direct feedback, that's one thing, right? What you think. And number two, based off of how long is it taking for me to work on these things, etc. I'll be honest with you guys. When I start up Project 7 again, which I don't know if it's going to be this month or not, we'll see. But when I do start up Project 7 again, it's going to be pretty time consuming. What I mean by that is there's going to be gameplay footage integrated. There's going to be footage of me, footage of other things going on. There's going to be video editing. There's going to be jokes and skits. It's not going to be raw gameplay that's easy to do and I can pump it out, 10 parts a day. It's going to be a highly more edited, more kind of story-based kind of a deal. It's going to be originally what I wanted the series to be. And a lot of people have been waiting for that, saying since they saw the series back in 2009, 2010 when I started it, they wanted to see where that was going to go. And, Project 7, the reboot that we did in 2012 was nice, but it wasn't the original thought for the series, and it was something completely different. So it's going to be interesting to go back and addressing that. So, really, it's going to be a combination of how long is it taking me to beat the new games that are coming out. I don't want to have the old games lingering, so there will be some days possibly where I will be doing 2 gameplay streams. Other days maybe I will take out to work on series like Project 7 or this new movie vlogging series that I want to talk about, or maybe something else, okay? So we'll see. When we get there, we'll see. But I do realize that, shortly, within a week, we are going to start having this again, new gameplay again. And I don't want to say to you guys, oh, well, I'm only going to be doing 1 gameplay stream a day, so that means when a new game comes out, it's going to take me 4 weeks to beat it because I only play 1 game a day. No, I don't want to completely screw up my schedule like that to the point where everything gets messed up because I'm only doing that. You know what I mean? I want to kind of get back into the flow of things when new games come out, but I do want to have the opportunity to have days where I not relax a little bit more, but don't have to worry about doing 2 gameplay streams. So it's going to be a mix. Hopefully, over the next few weeks to months, we're going to find our happy medium of new gameplay, working on other series, and, all kinds of things like the Patreon perks working into that so people get what they feel like they want out of that program. And we're going to see how everything finally flattens out and works well this year. I really do feel good about this. I think this is the first year in a while where I'm going to be doing, besides, the streaming change, which I did a few years ago, the first time that I'm going to be adopting a completely different, schedule, new series, all kinds of fun stuff going on. And I thank you. I thank you for being patient. I thank you for watching all of the content. I mean, people have been great about not only the playthroughs, but all these year-end series that I've been putting out, checking them out. And you'll have more of that this week. We will reconvene in a week's time to talk about how far I got and to see how next week's going to work, okay? All right, so that is it, everyone. Thanks very much for watching the Week in Preview. There's not much else to talk about, so I think what I will say is good night. See you tomorrow, where we'll resume with our regularly scheduled gameplay. Sorry about the little snafu earlier today, but tomorrow we'll be back on chat. Keep in mind, since I didn't make my pot of Italian sauce today, I have to make it tomorrow. So that means 2 things. It means that I may be a little later for my first stream, but it also means I'll probably go a little later on my first stream because I need the sauce to simmer for about 4.5 hours, which means that I need more time regardless to actually stream. So I may actually be playing a little bit extra Dragon Age Inquisition tomorrow, all right? That's it, everyone. Have a good night. See you tomorrow. Peace out.